Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ibrahim Olukokun. If you are just joining for the first time, feel free to subscribe, like, and share this video because today we are going to be diving into something very interesting, and that is introduction to Figma. So whether you are just starting out in the field of design or you've watched my last video, and thank you so much for the ones that like and comment. So we are going to cover everything you need to know about Figma, from the basics to some advanced tips, and by the end of this video you will be ready to create your first Figma project. Remember, I told you that this channel will be teaching you everything you need to know about UI UX, which will be hands-on practical. So let's get started and dive right into it. All right, guys. So the first thing we have to do is to have a Figma account. So what you want to do is for you to, I would believe that you have an email address already. So you need to just plug in your email address here. So right here, I'm going to put in a test email address, not my actual Figma account email address, just for you to see the process itself. So let's do this. Probably be blurring the part of this now. Give me some seconds. I'll type in my email address now so that you guys can see. And then you put in that as your email address, and then also I'll put in my password that I want to use for my Figma account. So that will be okay. Oh yeah, and that should be it. All right, so I believe that you have confirmed your email address, and now when you go back to your Figma desktop app, it will ask you to put in the name that you want to have on your Figma account. So for this purpose, I'll just write Ibrahim. Okay, since that's my name, yeah, I want to subscribe to Figma tips and updates. This is very helpful. So I'm using this. So in your case, it depends on you. I'm using this for design, yeah, and then continue. Do you any of these describe your work? I'm working at as a freelancer or at a company. So all depends on you. So at the bootcamp at an agency, then just continue. Who do you usually collaborate with? That will be my teammates, and then you continue. None. I'm not inviting anybody for now. Continue. You can totally skip this process if you choose to, but I mean, you can just do it also. So you're looking to setting up for your team, looking for any work tools using it for fun, just checking things out, start a new job or project, and continue. Have you used Figma before? In my own case, yes, I've used it a few times. But in your own case, if you are just using it for the first time, no, it is your first time. So let's continue with that. Figma will ask you if you are using this for a starter plan, professional plan, or organization plan. For this case, let us choose starter plan because we're just starting out to use Figma so that we don't have to pay any amount of money. So let's continue. So once we continue, Figma is asking you what would you like to do first. So the first thing we are trying to do is to design with Figma, and then we continue. Let's click on there to finish our setup process. Now let us go back to our main dashboard. Okay, here is the main dashboard of Figma. So first thing first, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what exactly is Figma? So let's simply put it like this. Figma is a cloud-based design tool that is perfect for UI UX design. That means that whatever it is that we are doing on Figma is being saved on the cloud, and it is widely used for creating interfaces for websites, apps, and more. And the best part of Figma is that it is collaborative, which means that you can work on the same design project with your team in real time, no matter where they are in the world. And that is the game changer about Figma for designers, especially in today's remote work environment where you work with clients and developers also. All right, so this is a Figma dashboard. On the left side, you see your team's folder, you have your drafts, you see all your projects also here on this left side. At the top here, you have an option to click on a design file if you are creating a new design file. If you are creating a new FigJam board or a new slide deck, this is a new feature from Figma, or if you are trying to import a Figma file into Figma. At the middle here is where you have all the projects that you are currently working on or that is opened on your Figma account. You have to see them all in here. So what we are doing first is we are going into our Figma editor to create a new design file. So let's click on new design file right here. Once we click on new design file, it opens up the actual Figma editor. And this is where all the magic happens. So maybe the first thing we want to do is let us change the name of our Figma file from untitled to Brimstein, or let's say IB project. Anyone that you like. So just change the name to anything. Let's wait for this to load. So at the top, you have your toolbar. Here we have a move tool, a frame tool, shape tool, pen tool, text tool. This one is for resources where you have your plugins and all sorts. This is your hand move tool, and this is your comment tool. On the left, you have your layers panel where you can organize your design elements. And the center here is your canvas where you'll be doing all your design work. On the right is where we have our properties panel, and this is where you can adjust the properties of any selected element, like the size of any element, color, or position of a project. So let's start with the basics. In Figma, every single thing you design will be placed inside a frame. So frames are essentially the containers for your designs, and they can be anything from a simple rectangle to a fully fledged website mockup. So to create a frame, let's go back to the top right here where we have our toolbar. Click on the frame tool. Once you click on the frame tool, or you can just click on press F on your keyboard, it opens up this panel on the right side. If you click on the desktop app or the phone or the tablet, just click on any one of them. For this purpose, let's click on desktop and just click on desktop. It automatically loads out a frame for desktop. If you click on your phone and then you click on, let's say, iPhone 14 and 15 Pro, maybe 15 Pro Max if you want to feel bougie, let's click on 14 and 15 Pro Max and it automatically loads out those frames. That is pretty easy, right? Okay, let's go on. So once you have your frames, you can now start adding elements to these frames. You can either add shapes, text, and even images. So for the purpose of this training, because I already told you guys this is hands-on, let us add elements to this frame. First, let us bring out the shape. We have tested out the frame tool. Let us test the next essential tool. So let's drag. This is our shape tool. If you left click on this, it automatically brings out the different shapes that we have. Or just click on the drop down button beside it. Then you can see that the rectangle, the line, the arrow, or the ellipse shape. Let's click on ellipse shape and then it opens up this circle. You can also click on this drop down again and then click on your rectangle tool and then it draws out also. So once we have this shape, we can also have text also. Let's go back to this our toolbar, click on the text and then click on text and let's see my name is, so let's increase this a little bit so we can either minimize this screen or maximize it, because on this screen now the size of this font is 12. I want to zoom in into this font so that I can see what I'm typing. Click on Control plus. It automatically zooms in when you click on Control plus. So let's increase the size of this font. To increase the size or the color or any properties of the element, remember I told you guys that on the right side is where you have the properties panel. So once you click on this element where you have your name, my name is, and then go to this property panel on the right side and increase the size to, let's say, 16. Now, my name is Ibrahim. Depending on what your name is, if your name is Sean, write my name is Sean. If your name is Lillian, put Lillian there. So my own name is Ibrahim, of course. So once you add your name, that is how this particular button works. And then to add colors to this shape, remember this is the properties. Click on the shape, go on your properties panel, and let's add a color to it. You see? Pretty easy and sweet. Click on this. And then to change this color also, let us change this one to, let's say, this color. Yep. And then I can even change the color of my text to, let's say, green, or yeah, let's say. And then you can now increase the font size, the font weight of this. Let's say I want to use bold and increase the font size to 40. You have this, you can drag this to the middle. So you have this, you can change the fonts also from inter to this. Anything you want to do, you can change it on your properties panel. Now you can resize this also by clicking on your shift key. Hold down your shift key if you want to resize proportionately, and then you drag it, yeah. Then you have this. If you don't want to resize proportionately, you can just drag it from any angle, that works. Change it anyhow you want it to be. You can resize it, and also you can resize from your properties panel. So let's say some people use calculation to do their designs. So you want to change the size of this based on your calculation of the way you want your width and height to be. Just go into your properties panel right here and click on, let's say, 220, and then by 220 by, let's say, 150, and there you go. Now if you notice something here, the moment I am changing these properties, I wanted this to be 220 by 150. On this, don't be distracted, yeah? Look at the right properties panel where my mouse is currently at. The moment I change any of these things, it is changing the equivalent height also. I want it to be 220 by 150, but it is giving me 291.192. Why? That is because this particular icon beside it, this constraint proportions, it is clicked on. So what you want to do is unclick this so that these sides of the shape works differently. Now I can change this to 150 easily, and it works. So now I have 220 by 150. And there are many reasons, because there are instances where you are not sure of what the equivalent size of a particular shape or frame is. That is why you have this constraint proportions icon for you to link sizes together. So for this purpose, let's also click it, and I want it to be 220 by 220, and yep, that's it. All right. So as your design gets more complex, you will need to keep things organized, and that is where layers and groups comes in. Every element you add to your design appears as a layer on this left panel. I have added my name here, you can see. Let us look at the left panel here. You can see my name, rectangle 1, ellipse 1. You can rename these layers, rearrange them, or even group them together to keep everything tidy. So to group elements together, all you need to do is just select them and right click on them. Select, right click on them, and then click on Ctrl G to group. Or you can just left click and then group selection and then ungroup if you choose not to group them together. So this is good for you when you want to move elements together at once or apply same effect to several items. Now that I've grouped them together, I can easily move them around the way I want. Now, next up, let us talk about typography now. Let us ungroup this and let's talk about typography. Now, in design, text is a huge part of any design, and Figma gives you a lot of control over how you want your text to look. So to add text, I told you guys, click on the T here at the top, or click on T on your keyboard, and then just click it on your canvas and start typing. So we've written my name is Ibrahim, and then the next thing I want to do is my name is Ibrahim. Let's click on this T, and I'm a designer. My name is Ibrahim and I am a designer. So I'm not sure I like this font. I want to change that. So over here in the properties panel, you can adjust the font, the size, the color, the line height, the line letter spacing, and so much more. The way you want your font to work, you can adjust it on the properties panel. Now, I've told you guys I don't like this font. Now I want to use, let's say I want to use Inter as a font. Let's go on our properties panel. I would do this, click on this together, group it together, or not if I choose not to, and then go to my properties panel, change the font to Inter. That is the font I want to use. Now I want this to be bold, yeah, but I want to increase the letter spacing between it. So if you click on this, you can see here you have letter spacing, you have line height. I want to increase the letter spacing a little bit. That is my own choice for this. And then I want to change this font weight from extra bold to bold, reduce back this to 0%. And then I want to change this I am a designer to regular. Regular, and I want to reduce the font size also to maybe 32. So I don't like the fact that it is regular. Let me keep it as medium. So I want to use the same color I used for this circle also. So let's go and pick this and I'll choose this color. So my name is Ibrahim and I am a designer. Okay. So now you can do yours. Your name is Zainab, and then you are a fashion designer. Whatever it is you want to put here, just put anything you like on this space. Now, remember I can also add line also to this. So you can click on your shape tool, bring up a line, and then you add it right here. And then I want to add a stroke on my properties panel. You see, add a properties panel for 4. I want to drag this up, group it, drag it up a little bit, change this color to the blue color that we have before, and then, yep, that's it. Now, Figma also supports Google Fonts, so you have a massive library to choose from. So I want you to do this also. Test these panels out, test the frames out, test the layer panels out, test the properties panel. Do this on your own when you are doing your practice. Now, one of the most powerful features in Figma is auto layout. And this is a must-know tool if you are designing responsive websites or apps. In my next video, I'll be talking more about auto layout, but essentially, auto layout allows you to create designs that automatically adjust to fit screen sizes. And when people talk about create responsive design, create responsive website, in Figma, we are telling you to use auto layout so that your work becomes responsive. Okay, so you can use it to create buttons, navigation bars, or even entire layouts that resize dynamically. So to apply auto layouts, what you want to do is click on your element. So let's say I have these two texts I have. Let us ungroup it. Left click and ungroup, or you can just click on Ctrl G to group. So let us ungroup first. What you want to do is select these elements, or you can select them from your layers panel here, and then click on Shift A. When you click on Shift A, you notice that something is changing here. Before we add group, the moment you click on auto layout, it changes to these 3 dots. These 3 dots that is centered together is telling you that it is centered to the middle. Now, on the properties panel, you have options to adjust the way your auto layout works. Here you can see that it says align top center. That means that our auto layout is working for these elements to be aligned to the top center. You can also adjust it to align to the center, align also to bottom. So and then you can adjust the spacing of this. We can increase the vertical padding and the horizontal padding. Let's increase the vertical padding. Let's also increase the horizontal padding to, I want to click on, let's say 24, 24, and then this one also go for 24. So once we do that, now if you notice something here, is that these elements are not aligned properly. This is aligning to the bottom. Why? Because we have set this to align to bottom. Let us align it to center, and our text also, let us align it to the left. That is why this text is working to stay at the middle. If you align this both text to stay at the middle, you see that everything adjusts left. Click on your text element and then adjust, align it to the left. Now you have this. Now, why auto layout makes so much sense is this. Let us test something out. On your auto layout, click on this and then fill, and then this one also fills, and then you can adjust how you want this to show. You can see that that is the work of auto layout. We'll go more in detail to this in my next video. Now, also in Figma, you can add an image to your Figma file or your Figma project, either by just dragging it directly from your browser, from your file, from your computer into directly into your Figma project, or you can click on any shape and then place an image inside. We can click on if you go right at the top here on your Figma menu where you have this, you can click on file and then you can place image, or you just press on Ctrl Shift K and then you bring up an image inside. For me as a designer, I like to just use plugin. So you have plugins like Unsplash where you get access to free images. So let's right click and then go to plugins, manage plugins, and let's go and search for Unsplash. So Unsplash is more of a free website where you can download free images, but it has a Figma plugin also where you can download Figma where you can get free images. So here you can easily just click on this and then the image imports into your file. You can see that we have the image right in our file here. And also you can add an image directly to a shape. Click on the shape and then open your plugin. Remember Unsplash, and then pick an image. Once it opens, pick an image and then just insert the image inside. You can see it automatically fits itself frame. You can also adjust how you want your image to be, either you want it to be fill, fit, crop, tile, fit it and then fill. You can adjust also the exposure, the contrast of the image, the saturation, anything you want to do with the image. Yeah, you can easily do that. All right. So Figma also has a lot of Figma plugin for icons. This is where you can drag icons. So let's say, for instance, now, yeah, I have my name is Ibrahim and I'm a designer. I want to put an icon beside these elements. I can just go to, you can use Iconify, you can use Hero Images, you can use SMW icon pack. I tend to use Hero icons or SMW icon pack. So let's go to our Figma plugin. You'll be using your plugins a lot. So let's go to manage plugins where I can search for any plugin and search for Hero icons. Sorry about that. So let's search for hero icons. You can see it here. Click on hero icons and run it. Okay. Once you click on hero icons and then it opens up, then you scroll down. I'm looking for an icon that represents a user. I'm looking for an icon that represents a user. So that's what I'm looking for. You can just easily just user, search for user, and then it brings this out. So let's pick this icon, and then it automatically loads onto your screen. For the purpose of this practice that we are just doing, I'm going to enlarge this because icons have its own set of size that is supposed to be. So let's I just increase this just for it to be able to merge alongside what I have here. Okay. So you have this. I want to reduce the padding of this. Go to your properties panel on the right side. This padding here on the left side and right side at the top. I want to put it as 12 and this also at 12. And then I also want to change the black color on this icon to the blue color I'm using on this text, changing that. And then once you do that, I want to reduce the size of this font also where I have my name to maybe 24, and then this also. So I'm dragging this right here. So just install it and arrange your things. Remember, I told you you can do anything that you want with this. You can either group together or add auto layout to it. So let's group this together. So let's add auto layout to this. We have already added auto layout to these two texts. Remember how to add auto layout is what? Click on Shift A. So we'll click on Shift and A to add auto layout to this. Just one sec. So let's bring this inside of here. Okay, so we click on this and then we add Shift A to it. Automatically, it gives it a spacing of 3. I don't want it to be 3. I need it to be like 8. And then so you have this. I want it to align to the middle also, like it is. All right. So let's move into the dirty parts with practice. Now you've understood Figma works, the layers panel, the properties panel, the text, the shape tool, the frames how it works. Now let's get our hands dirty with some practice, and this is where it gets exciting because I want you to be able to create at least a landing page, or let's say even an hero section, just let's say, or a landing page or an arrow section, and then we'll see so that we're able to test out everything that we have covered so far, which is frames, shapes, text, images, and auto layouts. So please don't worry about making it very, very perfect. The goal is to get comfortable with the tools. And once you are done, share your design in the group. In the group link, I'll be adding the group link on my on the description so that I can give you some feedback. So this is a great way to learn and improve. So don't skip this step. So let's design. Okay, let's design. So just follow up with what I'm doing now. I want you to be able to create your own also. So just follow with me while we create, let's say, the hero page with me. All right, let's delete all of this. Let's delete all of this. Delete the frame for the phone also. Then we have this desktop. So let's say we are creating a landing page for a fashion, or not even for a fashion brand. Let's say we are creating a landing page for a training website. For example, this training website. And then we want to have our headline text to be start your design journey. Okay, let's say your one way to becoming a UI UX designer. I want to becoming a UI UX designer. All right, and then we want it to have a sub heading of start your design journey here. Design journey here. Okay, so in typography, when you are designing, hierarchy in typography is something that you have to always look out for. So this text right here, because hierarchy helps you place importance on which information you want to call your audience attention to. So let us increase the font weight and the font size of this particular text. So go on to your properties panel on the right side. Let's change it to bold, and let's increase the size to, let's say, 40. And then, all right. So this text here, add auto layout on it because we want it to be responsive. Okay. Shift A, remember, click on Shift A, and then, okay, yeah, this is very good. You can see that when I drag this, you can see that our text is going out of that frame. That is because our text is not constrained inside that particular auto layout. So we have to click on, let's Ctrl Z, click on that text itself, go on to your properties panel. Under the sizes, you see here we have horizontal resizing. Click on the drop down and then choose fill container. That way, you are telling the text to fill inside that container, not go outside of that container. That way, when we adjust this, the font automatically adjusts by itself. Easy peasy. All right, so let's increase this a little bit. 40, let us give it 48, maybe 64. Yeah, depends on you as a designer. Now, start your design journey also. Let us add auto layout to it also. When we add auto layout to it also, notice one thing. The moment you add auto layout to it, it is giving it an automatic horizontal padding and vertical padding. That depends on you how you want it to be. I personally don't want it to be 10. I want it to be, let's say, 8. So I'm clicking 8 on it. I'll change this to 8 also. I'm changing this to 8 also. So it says your design journey starts here. So now click on these two together. Remember, you can just group, and or you can just use auto layouts depending on the function that you want, because sometimes you want to do some things that auto layout will work for, and sometimes you want to do some things that grouping would work for. So let's use auto layout together. Remember, Shift A to group together. When I click on Shift A, it automatically adjusts to the left. So let's align to left center, and then we have this here. Okay. Let's follow up. We have this here. Let us bring out a company logo. There is a plugin that I use for logos. Essentially, I use brand fetch. So right click, remember how to bring out your plugin. Right click, scroll down to plugin and search for manage plugins. Let's search for brand fetch. Okay, we're looking for brand fetch. All right, you see, let's run brand fetch and just pick a random company. Okay, so it depends on you. Next, you do later. Let's get started. And then let's pick one company. I want to choose, let's explore and see what we have. I want to pick anything. Technology, it says Google. I don't want to use any of these names. Let me just pick, I'm suggesting a random name for myself. So I'll pick, and then you have S&P Global. Okay, let's pick this. Let's see what we have. So it says S&P Global. Okay, let's import the SVG file of this S&P Global logo. Okay, so this is the logo itself. Now, if you notice one thing here, the moment I import this logo, it is outside of this frame on the left, on the layer panel. So click on this logo, drag it back inside the desktop so that it doesn't stay outside of this desktop frame. Drag it because some elements are stubborn. Drag them back inside the frame. Okay? So come back here and then click on shift because you want to adjust the size of that element proportionately. Once you hold down shift, it adjusts proportionately. Remember, I told you if you don't want it to adjust proportionally, you can just do it anyhow you like, but this is not a good design practice. So let's Ctrl Z, click on shift so that you can adjust proportionately. Yeah, XMP global. Okay. In most cases, I want it to be, let's say, 48. It depends on me. So let's click on this. Yeah, good. Now let us also add a button for people that will come onto this Euro page for the first time. Let us click on the text and see learn more. Okay, learn more. Now let's click on learn more. You have the bold. I want to reduce the size to, let's say, 16, and I want to add auto layout to it. Okay, Shift A, change the padding to 16, and then increase the vertical padding also to maybe 24. So maybe this one also to 24. And then remember on the properties panel, you can change the color and anything you want. So I want to add a few color of, let us choose the color on this S&P logo. Click on your icon here, on this icon here to pick any color on your canvas. So I want to pick the color of this logo here. So click on it, it automatically picks the color. Now, another thing I want to do is that, you can see that this has sharp edges. What I want to do is I want to give it a corner radius so that it looks a little bit rounded, yeah? And then I want to change this to, let us say, 12. When you change it to 12, you can see that the corner of this button, if you zoom in, Control plus, you can see that it has changed the corner radius of this. So I want to change this to 12 or maybe 16. It depends on you. Just increase that, and I want to increase the horizontal padding to maybe 32. Yeah. Now you can see that the black text on the red color, it is not good for visibility. That means we need to be able to we need to make sure that our design has sharp contrast. You don't put two colors that are complementing each other for readability purpose. Let us change this to white. Change the black text to white on your properties panel. Yeah. Change that to white, okay? And let us align all of this together, okay? Click on, you can either just group them together if you want it to stay like that. But for peace of mind and for you to make your work easier and for you to look like, for you to get better as a professional, click on Shift A, yeah, okay? It automatically adjusts this for you. So now if you notice this, you can see that because we added a padding of 8 around this, we had a little space here. So let us go and remove that. Yeah, let us remove that. Okay, let's put 0. Let's put a 0 here. Let us change this also, put it on 0, change this to 0 also, so that these elements aligns together. Okay, it aligns together. Now I want my logo to be at the top, but I want this headline text and subtext and the buttons to be a little bit closer. What will I do? I would click on my frame here for this text and the frame for my button and add auto layout to it. That way, I have separated the logo from these elements here. Please and please, if there's anything you do not understand here, do not hesitate to send me a message, join the group chat. I don't need you to be perfect with it. Just do something, watch my video. You can watch it repeatedly and send me your work. Let me just see it and then I'll correct it and tell you what you have done, what you're not doing right. So now we have a space of 114. I want to reduce this a little bit to, you can just drag it or change it in your properties panel to maybe 64. Yeah. And I've used 64 here. I want to use 64. If you add it together, that would be like 128. I want to add 128 here. So I want it to be like this. And also I want to add an image on the right side of it. So let's say drag in maybe not a frame or a rectangle, anything I decide to put. Let us put a rectangle, for example. Drag out the rectangle, fill up the space, yeah. Go onto your plugin. Remember, right click on plugin, go to Unsplash. Let us pick out an image that would work for us. Your one way to becoming a designer, we are looking for an image that shows design. Let us search for design. Let's search for design. Okay, design. Search for it, and then you have this any one of them that works for you. So in my own case, what will I choose? What will I choose? What will I choose? Let me see. 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 All right, let us just let us pick this. Okay, let us pick this. It automatically fills in that image on this side. Can you see that the rectangle also is also outside the desktop? So let us bring it back inside the desktop. Yeah, it stays inside the desktop. Okay, and then that works inside the desktop, and you can see our dashboard is coming up. So we can also add a little bit of design elements by ourselves, just for creativity purpose. Go onto your shape tool, click on the ellipse tool, and then you can create a circle, little circle frames, create a circle, add in the color of this logo a little bit. You can just click on that. Let us adjust the size also to maybe 12 by 12, and then let us duplicate this. To duplicate in Figma is just have to click on Ctrl D. Now I've duplicated this. If I wanted to have the same amount of spacing, and essentially that's why I'm telling you auto layout is very good. I'll go more in detail of this in my next video. So once you click on this, group them, click on them together, and click on Shift A. Once you click on Shift A, you can now click on them, go to your layers panel. You can see ellipse 1, ellipse 2. Click on ellipse 2 and then just start clicking on Ctrl D. It automatically just creates the number of shapes that you want. So let's say we want 6 shapes, and then we'll now go onto our properties panel and adjust the spacing of these circles. So let's leave it like this. Okay, let's leave it like this for now, and then we're good. Another thing we want to do is you might want to add a little bit of, you remember I told you that you can change the color of this, or you can add a frame inside of a frame. So for learning purposes, maybe I want to add a bit of flex to this hero image. I can change the color a little bit from white to, let's say I want to change it to a little bit of this color here, and adjust it a little bit. Adjust it a little bit. You can see this works. This works. All right. So logo sometimes might not be here. Okay, we need to maybe adjust it a little bit so that it can be right at the top, and then it's going to be in the bottom. Let's see, group this. Okay, so that we can drag this here. Okay, so the logo stays at the top, and then yep. Okay, another thing you can do is add a background depending on you. We can fill this desktop image with desktop with a background. So we can have this as your hero page alone, or you can just duplicate this by clicking on Alt. On Mac laptop, it will be your command key. So you can just click on Alt and then drag this to the side. Now let's change this background from just a color here to an image. Let's click on that, go to plugins, Unsplash, or if you have your image of your own, just drag it into or place it, Ctrl Shift K, remember that. Okay, so let us pick white abstract gray. So that depends on you. I'm looking for a white abstract gray. Okay, and then I want to put it, I want that to be somewhere around. Okay, let's pick this. Okay, so once you pick that, you can see the difference. Yeah, so once I pick that, on your properties panel, always remember that you can adjust the details of any element on your canvas. So click on this and then adjust. Let's say you want to adjust the transparency of that image. Then you can now adjust this. Let us either drag it, yeah. So let's keep it at 40%. Okay, you can see that adding that background to this frame, it makes our work looks a little bit better than just the plain background. And that is why, as you are thinking, you have to be thinking as a designer creatively, because as you are designing for functionality, also putting aesthetics into your mindset. Now, originally, while I'm designing this, I didn't use any layout grid. That's because we have not touched it yet, but because I want it to be hands-on practical for you to get your hands dirty and get started with your UXS journey ASAP. So once you click on this, and then you click on, or when you click on this upper part, also there are also some other icons here that we'll look into later on as we progress. Click on present here, and it opens up another page for you to see how your design would look on laptop. Can you see this now? Can you guys see? You see it looks better. It looks as though you're actually on a website, your one way, SP Glow, S&P Global, your one way to research, and then you just click on learn more button, and then it automatically refers you back to that page. All right, guys, and that's it. I want you to do this also. Replicate same thing or something similar, and once you're done, join my group which I'll be adding to the description. Send it there, and I'll correct your file or send me your Figma file. I'll also add this Figma file under the description for you to download and work around with. And that opens up another page for you to see how your design will look on the desktop laptop. So if it was the mobile frame that we're working on, it will also do the same thing here, where you'll be able to see how your app would look on the presenting function here. So now I want you also to do the same thing. Go into your Figma account, create a Figma account, do the same thing or something similar, and send it to the group for me to look into. It doesn't have to be perfect like this. You are free to make mistakes. So just do what you can, send it to the group or in the comment section, and I will gladly look into it. And if you run into any issues at all, please and please let me know. I'm always here for you and always here for you to learn and grow together. And there you have it, your introduction to Figma as a design tool. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and I hope you guys have a good foundation to how Figma works and how to start your journey as a UI UX designer. Remember, the best way to learn is by doing. So keep practicing and testing out. Experiment with things that you have learned in this video. And if you have any issues or questions at all, drop a comment below or in the group, and I will respond to them promptly. See you in my next video where I'll be talking about layouts and auto layouts in Figma, where we'll dive deep into some other aspect of design and UI UX. Till then, keep designing. See ya. Bye bye.